Welcome back. Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. And thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning in studio and we speak with Miss Sophia Cooper. She is the Special Programs Coordinator at the Assembly Legislature. And we're talking about the Bicentennial Celebration Night of Mystery. In fact, the host of events that will be taking place around that. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course, a pleasure having you here. And when we're talking about Assembly Legislature, there is so much that we could talk about. We could talk about the history, we could talk about present day, and we could talk about the plans for the future in terms of integrating our public, into what is happening, the open days, and all the stuff that you all have going on there, the purpose of the Assembly Legislature. There's so much to talk about, right? But we want to focus our conversation on the celebration that is taking place this week. Primarily, what are some of the things that we should be focusing on in terms of celebrating? Why is it important? I know it's 200 years, but why is it important to celebrate this institution?
You're so right in saying that there's so much. And so what we've been doing is getting as many events as possible that would bring members of the public into the space. So for us, the bicentennial celebration, which maps the timeline between 1825, when the foundation stone was laid on the 23rd of April, and 2025, the 23rd of April, that 200-year period where we could talk about Tobago's legislative history. So two huge events that we want to highlight is the exhibition that we're going to have based at the Fine Arts Center at Fort King George. And that will capture a lot of that timeline in a physical representation of artistic expression so that people could come between the start of the exhibition up until the end of the exhibition. So we're hoping what we'll do is have a lot of experiences from April to October, like the exhibition, like Little Voices, Big Heritage for the preschoolers, like primary school plenary, like the gala, the People's Gala that's coming up in August, and a host of other events that we hope people will continue looking at our social media pages and our website, tobagolegislature.org, to make sure that they're keeping up to date on what's coming next.
And for the average person who is unaware or unfamiliar with the role and responsibility of the legislature, because there's so much history there, there's so much to learn, so much to understand, and I'm happy that the exhibition is going to be taking place so people could come and see. But for the average person who is now hearing the term for the first time, is like, listen, where have I been? What is the Assembly Legislature about and what are their responsibilities?
I have the perfect event. It's Saturday, the 26th, this month, when we have Night of Mystery. It's like, if you want an introduction to what the Assembly Legislature is, it's perfect. It's a nighttime tour with a twist. So literally bringing people into the space, introducing them to what the Assembly Legislature is all about, but in a way that it's almost like you're having fun and learning at the same time, that you don't even realize that it's an educational experience, because we just want you to come and have fun. And it's going to be devised in a way that you could bring your children. So use it as an educational opportunity, not just for yourself, but for your kids.
So it's kind of like interactive.
It is very interactive. It starts at 7 p.m. and the large show is at 9 p.m. So, if you might have church. So we understand. You might not make it for the 7 p.m. show, but prepare to be there for the 9 p.m. show, which is the last show. There are 3 shows, 7, 8, and 9.
Right. And what can persons expect through the tour on that night? I see Night of Mystery and I'm seeing Squid Games edition.
Correct.
So I really want to understand what I need to manage my expectation should I be attending.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? We need to give people something that they could relate to. And yes, the Assembly Legislature is about the roles and functions of that arm of the Tobago government that deals with all the members coming together to have debates. So we get that. And that's the serious part. But there's also this part of Tobago's history that sometimes is not captured in the classroom. It's not in the textbooks. People can't teach what they don't know. And so we open the Assembly Legislature to daytime tours where schools can come in. But this is kind of like our opportunity to introduce the members, the adults, who can't make it during 8 to 4, but they might be able to come on a weekend. And so when they come, they should be able to have fun. Now, Squid Games. I don't know if you guys ever watch the show. It's going to be relatable.
Right.
But we're also going to make it very Tobago centric, if that helps.
All right, it does help, but I was hanging on there to your last word. Say, okay, Tobago centric in which regard? How are you going to integrate the Tobago aspect of it into the games?
That's the thing about Tobago's culture. It's so dynamic, and so we have a group of people who has put their heart and soul into this. And they are determined to ensure that when you come, yes, it is the Squid Games edition, and it's also going to capture your attention where Tobago's legislative history is concerned. Not just about the history that you learned in school. We're going beyond that.
Right, very, very intriguing, very, very intriguing. And of course, we do hope that the public can come out and participate. Let me find out this one thing, right? Is there any cost attached to this?
No cost.
Right.
No cost. And that's important. What we're offering is public information. And we understand that although we have plenary sittings on the 4th Thursday of every month, at least once a month, there's a recess period in July, August, but it's usually during the day. Sometimes it's 1:30, sometimes it's 10 a.m. And we stream it live for people who can't come in person. But we get that that might not be convenient to people. And so we're looking for opportunities to bring people into the space so they can pay attention to their own democracy. And that's the key. The key is, how do we help people see the ways that they can participate in what is happening in Tobago? And the Assembly Legislature is that place where both the majority and the minority meet to discuss Tobago's people business.
So, of course, it would be very, very educational and, of course, giving that measure of history as well. Remind me about the event that's taking place tomorrow, because tomorrow is actually the 200th anniversary of the laying of the foundation stone. So, I mean, I feel as if that has a kind of emotional type of feel to it as well. So,
so the foundation stone was laid by Governor F.P. Robinson. If you come to the Assembly Legislature, in the courtyard, there's this sign. It's gold and black, and it has a summary of the things that happened in the building. No. 1768 is when the assembly started. It's just that the building started construction in 1821. It took 4 years to complete. So what we're using is the day the foundation stone was laid in 1821, but the construction was completed in 1825. So what we're doing is using the dates that are important. We're launching on the 23rd of April. It's a video launch. The plenary sitting is the day after, which is Thursday. Night of Mystery is Saturday. And then we have the exhibition that's coming up in July, the gala in August. And between all of that, we have Little Voices, a Big Heritage, the primary plenary caravan. We also have a web series that we're going to launch. Every week you get a snippet of Tobago's history. So we want to just give people as much information as possible, but in ways that it's easy to consume and share.
And if somebody wanted to get in contact to get more information, how can they reach you guys?
Our website is tobagolegislature.org. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So just look for Tobago House of Assembly Legislature, just simply Tobago Legislature, and you'll find us there.
All right. And if you wanted to tell Tobago one more thing about this celebration in this period, especially to encourage them to come out and to be a part of who we are as a people and to learn our history and to ensure that you can be a part of the conversation, how do you encourage them?
Two things. When it comes to the adult population, you see this Saturday for Night of Mystery, it's a great introduction. And you see the exhibition that's coming up in July, beautiful opportunity to just consume everything about the Assembly Legislature. So I kind of lump that in one, right? Night of Mystery exhibition. And then the second thing is, you see the gala, the People's Gala that's coming up in August. It's going to be one of those things where we capture the recognition of people who contributed to the Assembly legislature and where it is today. And I think between those two experiences, you're going to get a lot out of the history. And everything we do have, and there's an educational component. So it's not just about, oh, we're doing something to celebrate 200 years. That's important. But we're also going to ensure that you leave knowing something new.
That's right. That's right. And, of course, I must say kudos to the Assembly Legislature for all the programs that you are hosting to include, even from the preschoolers, primary school, secondary school, and now, of course, the Night of Mystery for the adults as well, to ensure a wide cross-section of the population kind of has the opportunity to be a part there. So hats off to you guys for, thinking of all of these things to ensure that we have the knowledge, we have the education, and even if we don't, we have the opportunities to get them. So kudos to you, ladies and gentlemen. We are celebrating tomorrow. The event takes place at Fort King George.
So tomorrow is a video launch of the calendar of events. So that's why it's important to remember the website, right? TobagoLegislature.org, and we're on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, where you will get some information about the entire calendar of events and the dates that are coming up. So that's tomorrow, the 23rd of April. Thursday we have plenary sitting, and that's 1:30. Saturday we have Night of Mystery.
Right, and that's the one I was trying to remember, the Night of Mystery on Saturday, so you want to be there as well.
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Be a part of what is happening, come out and, have a good evening out while you learn and while you engage with the information and the history of Tobago.
One thing, I'm not going to take it for granted that people know where the Assembly Legislature building is. So it's uptown, and if, at one point, there was the Registrar General's office. So downstairs, people used to go for their birth certificates. It's that building.
Right.
So Jerningham Street, right next to James Park. As a matter of fact, when you're coming on Saturday for Night of Mystery, assemble in James Park, and we'll take you from there.
So the tour begins. Ooh, this is so exciting. So James Park, let's just focus on James Park. At least we know where that is. Let's get to James Park 7 p.m. Before 7 p.m. Let's say about 6:45. So we start to gather and the tour starts at 7 p.m. See you all there. Thank you so much, Sophia, for coming this morning and sharing that information with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations here in studio. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.